Over the last 10 days, hundreds of thousands of people have watched my videos about governments reading your private messages. Today, I'm giving you all the information, I'm answering all the questions, every law, every power, every country. Every source is in the description of the video. Check them yourself. Do not take my word for any of this. So, the three laws. Let's start with Europe, where I live. On the 9th of July, the European Parliament passed what critics call chat control. Officially, the extension of Regulation 2021/1232. It allows tech companies to voluntarily scan your private messages, emails, and photos on unencrypted platforms like Gmail, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Facebook, Discord. Here is the part that they do not advertise. More MEPs voted against it than for it. 314 against, 276 in favour. It passed anyway because the vote was held the day before the summer recess under a procedure requiring an absolute majority of 361 to kill it. Absent members, this really gets me. Absent members counted as yes votes, and it now runs until 2028 from what I gather. An even bigger law, Chat Control 2.0, which would force scanning inside encrypted apps like Signal, WhatsApp, has failed 5 rounds of negotiations. Talks resume in September. So this is not over. And this is where it gets interesting. The United Kingdom, the Act. New regulations came into force on the 8th of January 2026 this year, requiring platforms to scan content before it reaches you. And underneath it sits the Investigatory Powers Act 2016, which lets the Home Secretary issue secret technical capability notices, orders to remove encryption that companies cannot even publicly confirm exist. More on that in a minute. The United States, the Kids Act passed the House on the 29th of June. Age verification, platform duties, content rules, not on device scanning yet, but the direction of travel is the same. The power already used. Part 2. So you think this is theoretical, right? Ask Apple. The UK Home Office secretly ordered Apple to build a backdoor into cloud encryption. Apple refused to build it. And instead of that, they switched off advanced data protection for every UK user. Apple fought it in court. Apple lost. So right now, if you're in Britain, your iCloud data has less protection. iCloud data has less protection than anyone else on Earth, using the same technology, the same phone. It's brutal. The most powerful technology company in history was given a choice by one government, and it folded in one country rather than fight everywhere else. The machine does not work. Now, the evidence. Does any of this actually protect children? This is the most important thing, because that is why it was supposedly brought in. Amazon's AI scanning system flagged over 1 million pieces of content as child abuse material. 99.6% were false alarms. And that is from the EU, that's from the EU Commission's own implementation reporting. The German Federal Criminal Police say nearly half of all reports these systems generate are not even criminally relevant. And by the commissioner's own evaluation, the amount of illegal content in scanned messages runs to roughly 1 in tens of millions. Almost everything flagged is innocent people. Patrick Breyer, a former member of the European Parliament, put it plainly. 5 years and millions of euros wasted on algorithms that cannot protect children. Money that should have gone to real policing and to survivors, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of whom have never received any support at all. They did not fund the people who protect the victims. They funded the machine that watches you. One rule for them. Now, the part that should genuinely anger you, angers me. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, the institution behind chat control, uses Signal with disappearing messages, automatically deleted, untraceable, and EU politicians are excluded from the law that they wrote. And in Britain, Downing Street confirmed in June that Keir Starmer uses disappearing WhatsApp messages during a parliamentary inquiry seeking his records. Boris Johnson before him lost around 5,000 WhatsApp messages from the pandemic. Gone. In America, senior officials planned actual military strikes over Signal. They trust encryption with national security secrets. They do not trust you with a private conversation. And this is where it really angers me, if I'm honest. Who actually gets hurt? They say that this protects the vulnerable, but it doesn't. It endangers them. A woman planning her escape from a violent partner, her only safe lifeline is a private message and a way to perhaps save her children and her own existence from what she's going through. A journalist protecting a source, a whistleblower exposing corruption. These are the people that need privacy most. And they are the people that this machinery puts at risk. While real investigators drown in false alerts, and it gets deeper than that. The deeper machine. In Britain, strangely enough, it goes further than messages. Couldn't believe this. I could not believe this. In Bristol, over 90% of the population had their data fed into a police prediction system built with the city council. About that. Mental health records, housing status, preschool meals, scores assigned, risk scores assigned to children. Nobody was told. Surely that's a court case waiting to happen. More than 70 AI policing tools now operate across England and Wales, most without oversight. The government has funded a national predictive policing prototype, combining police, council, and social services data. And this is where it gets even more interesting. Facial recognition vans are rolling out across 7 forces. And in June, the commissioner of the Metropolitan Police argued police should not have to wait for legislation to use new technology. Meanwhile, 74% of Britons say they expect large-scale unrest this year. That is the moment the state chose to build a machine that predicts who might cause trouble before anyone does anything. And this is where it gets even more interesting. And new surveillance is tested on migrants at the border first. People with the least power to refuse. And then it's turned on everybody. So this is the comparison that nobody wants to make. North Korea does not ask for permission to watch its people. China does not either. Russia does not. We are not them. In China, there is no vote, no court challenge, no journalist forcing documents into the open. Here, Apple could fight. Signal could refuse. Parliament could reject chat control twice before a procedural trick revived it. But understand this clearly. The difference between them and us is no longer technology. The scanning tools, the prediction models, the facial recognition, the machinery is the same. The difference is intent and law and your ability to object. And once this infrastructure exists, it never gets switched off. It only ever expands. Every regime in history that built a surveillance machine eventually used it. So, where does this go? Where does it leave us? Where does this land by 2028 when Chat Control 1.0 expires? The realistic projection is splintering. Britain drifting furthest towards surveillance. The machinery already half built. Europe is fighting itself to a compromise. America at the federal level, but it is fractured state by state. And encrypted apps like Signal are forced to choose country by country between compliance and exit. So what can you actually do? 3 things. Use properly encrypted apps, Signal, and for email, Proton Mail. Perhaps there are some others. There are probably lots, in fact, if you just go and have a look. Watch September. In Chat Control 2.0 negotiations, when Chat Control 2.0 negotiations resume in the EU Parliament, and make noise. Make noise to your representatives. Make noise on social media. Feel free to tag me. And in the EU Parliament, you need to tell them you're not happy about this before, not after. And you need to share information like this. Because the one thing every one of these laws has relied on is that you were not paying attention. Every claim in this video is sourced in the description. Read them, check me. I'm doing a video every single day for 6 months to build 100,000 subscribers. Hit subscribe to follow the journey. And I will also put a link to the article which you can read where I go more in depth here. The amount of research I did around this topic literally would blow your mind. And the conversations with people on the videos on Instagram and on TikTok has been really eye-opening, and long may you all share your opinions with me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the next level. Thanks.